Hello everybody, it's Narrative Tarot. I'm here with Neptune, August 2021. I think I have a few minutes to myself down here to do it. Welcome to the channel. I do monthly readings by planet, not zodiac, so if you're interested in that concept, comment, like, subscribe to the channel, things like that. I have a little bit of glare because I'm facing like the window, but whatever. Anyway, so this is for Neptune, August 2021. If you have significant Neptune transits, aspects, things like that in your natal chart, progress chart, or even if you have Piscean energy, I do put the zodiac sign next to the planet and the like title. So yeah, the news is on, so I'm just like gonna change the channel because I don't want to look at this. Anyway, so start off, we have the, before we start using Shadowscapes Tarot, we have the Five of Wands, Knight of Swords, Five of Cups, Ten of Wands. So going back to something, Three of Pentacles, going back to something reaps rewards for you, but at what cost? I kind of feel with the 2 5s on the board and then the 10, those 2 5s add up to a 10. So, and then the Knight of Swords. So, if you guys are in a particular situation where you feel like you have to go back to something, someone, some situation that isn't the best, like toxic or something like that, understand that this is kind of like the fork in the road for you guys. Like I was just talking to my friend about going back to blogging the way I used to. I liked blogging, but it doesn't seem like you guys like the thing that you're going back to, or feeling regressed or something like that, and that what you're going back to is setting you back. So you literally could be looking at, with that Eight of Swords, I want this, Five of Pentacles, with that Eight of Swords, like that energy of old energy that needs to be transmuted. Yeah, with the Fool, it needs to be transmuted. It needs to Three of Swords at the bottom, it needs to be transmuted and let go and released, and it needs to have some sort of like reconciliation, but then like release. So if I'm gonna say it, if you have old flames and things like that that you need to let go of, if you can meet up with them, then do it, or reconcile it within yourself. Even if you're reconciling things like finances, for some reason I'm like getting like finances with the person, like you own a house or a business or like something like that, like something that's like tangibly like intertwined with people, then I say do it. Like meet up, split everything up and things like that, because that could actually be holding you back, like that old energy. So if you have like a business but it's old and stale, in that like you both aren't either interested in it, or because there's discord between the two of you, it would lend itself to like a really bad situation for the business. Like one person has a vision of the business, let's say like I'm interested, I like fashion stuff, you both like own a boutique, you could be like friends, whatever. One person is more avant-garde fashion, one person is more like natural, sustainable dyes, things like that. Not that the other avant-garde person could be, but the style of clothing and the brands that they would want to bring in, or the way that they would design the clothes, would be different than that person who wants like a more sustainable brand, where things are kind of loose, things may be made with exclusively just one thing, one material or something like that, like, and you can see kind of like the divide, and maybe you had tried to merge a few things together but they didn't pan out. And then also as time progressed, as you live your own life and experience your own life, you're moving farther and farther away from each other, and that can start to cause a very big divide in the business, because it feels like split. One half is like avant-garde and one half is linen. And so like as a business, this is just keeping in with this, as a business, you really can't find common ground, or your like demographic is split, or it's like it's very confusing when people interact, right? It's very confusing when people interact with you. I'm gonna get some things to drink. And so you don't want to be like confused. You don't want to have a confused life. Essentially, you don't want to have a confused life or conflicting life or things like that. You want to have things where, like, you mesh. Even though we have pieces of ourselves that we think don't fit neatly, right? They actually do, because we're a whole self, and so all of the aspects of ourselves like fit together to make a whole. But when you're dealing with other people, that doesn't necessarily translate so well. And so what I'm seeing is that it's not translating so well. But then, just for you personally, if you're feeling like the old self isn't who you are now, and you're being put in situations that are putting you back there, then you have to work on meeting up with that old self. So like, I guess I might make meditations on stuff like this because I'm interested. But going back to the old self, understanding that expression, how it wears in the body and the mind, and then releasing it, and then bringing yourself forward. I think I'm gonna do the Gene Key as a book club, maybe in the fall or something like that. Fall, winter time, I think a lot of people might start preparing themselves for like trauma release, because we're gonna have a bunch of shit in Cap, and then a bunch of shit in Aquarius, and then it'll start to peter out just a little bit when it gets to like Pisces. But generally you have at least 2-3 planets in each sign when the season comes at the same time. So I think that going back to revisit that stuff, even if it's like rereading some of the stuff that you wrote about your life, like for me, and we have the Tower, some of the information in there is information that you forgot, but it's quite shocking. And you know how you write stuff, and then, you know, like years pass or whatever, and then you come back to it, and there's certain aspects of yourself that even you're surprised at, like that you experience or something like that. My skin looks good as fuck in this. When you turn the lights on. Anyway, it looks so smooth. Anyway, trying out new skin products and everything. But you even are surprised by your old self as the shit that you wrote. Like, I remember I had a diary and I destroyed it because I was just like, I can't have this energy around. But when I was younger and I was diagnosed with like dysthymia, which is like depression, stuff like that, a few years ago. The Pisces enemy. But anyway, it was years before that, so I had to be, I'm 28 now, so I kind of feel like I was between 18, 23, somewhere in there. And I read a diary entry or two from my like teen years or tween years, between like 11 and 16, somewhere in there. And I kind of just remember being really like, I think, surprised at how low I felt. And I think it was kind of really disheartening to witness this and experience this. And I knew the perspective, like, you know, you have those perspectives of like your past, stuff like that. But when you go back, it's like you're transported back there, and it kind of feels like for people who go back and do time traveling stuff, energetic things with trauma release, you may be tempted to keep going back there, but there's a danger in that. So I would say if you're gonna do like time traveling sort of energy work, you don't want to do it so often, because I kind of think it becomes a comfort zone where you're not living your life. One, two, I think you end up perpetuating cycles that are already done, and it's almost like you aren't ready to let it go. It's almost like when people talk about like people who have departed but they don't know that they're gone. That's how it feels. So I would say stay away from that. And Pisces, why do y'all always drag? It's the deck as well, because this is a very like up there deck. But if you feel like you need to do that sort of work, and I'm someone who likes that kind of stuff, understand that with Neptunian energy is a big fog, but it's to me, one of the best planets to work with to transcend and transmute stuff. Not even transcend, take that out, because transcending, people, they like to have like very big grandiose visions of that. If you want to transmute stuff, if you want to figure things out, like Neptune is your planet. Like I fucks with Neptune, I always say it. We have the King of Cups. It's a lot of maturing emotion that you do. It's a lot of deep diving that you do. Because this is like underwater and stuff like that. It's a lot of deep diving that you do. It's a lot of undercover deep work that you do with Pisces, and it's a lot of things that if you were to get and see it clearly through working with Virgo energy or Mercury energy, Neptune and Mercury, and this is someone who has a Mercury in Cancer, oppose Neptune and Capricorn and Uranus in Capricorn because they're conjunct, and you have Six of Cups. Going back to these places and time and stuff like that, just don't get trapped there. Don't get trapped thinking you need to solve it. Don't get trapped thinking you need to do this kind of work all the time. It's almost like crown and root chakra open so much. Your root chakra is really open. This is where ancestral work becomes kind of iffy for me, because I feel like I have a video, it's like a danger of reclaiming a bunch of stuff. The Emperor. You, by virtue of you being who you are, you have your own experiences, stuff like that. Ancestral work is very helpful because it's parts of you, but you're not any singular ancestor. You are the sum of all of them. And so when you're trying to work on specific ancestral kind of things, you kind of can get lost in their story, and you kind of miss the big picture of that you're the sum of all of these. So I would say stay away from that. And I think what is happening if you're in this energy is that you're staying very long and very interesting spaces, time loops, time warps, and it's time for you to move forward. So don't keep going back, and you have the Four of Cups. Don't keep going back to places and time that are unsatisfactory and stuff like that, unless you are going, and this is where Neptune, Pisces energy needs to kind of like learn. Unless you're going to go back and do the work, Virgo, there is no need for you to keep going back, because there's some sort of satisfactory thing that you get from going back as opposed to being in the present and then moving forward. A lot of people were interested in ancestral stuff. I like ancestral stuff, I do, but I always say I am my own being because I'm the sum of all of you. I'm not just you over here from Nigeria, you over here from Congo, you over here from England, you over here from Russia, wherever, right? Because I don't do ancestry DNA. I haven't done it yet. But I'm the sum of all of these things, and so I can't just focus on one. Like, they're all important. Because they all have their gifts and they all have their things that I need to transmute. But I'm the sum of all of them. People, they want to go and do this ancestral work, but they keep doing time loops. And even the stuff today when it comes to like protesting and human rights and stuff like that, the old ways of doing this stuff is done. And I don't know if people get that. And Pisces, because there's a fog, such a fog, you have to ask the question. One of the best questions to ask Piscean energy is why? Why am I doing this? Because it forces you to come up with a concrete answer. Even if the answer is I don't know. That's a concrete answer. That's something you can stand on. But when you don't have any questions, because Virgo is Mercury, so it's analytical, it asks why. You have to have that. So ask questions. Take concerted efforts to put this energy work or this time loop work in very specific frames, like very specific time frames. If you're going to do it for 3 months, do it for 3 months and then rest. 4 months, 5 months, and then do it again. But I feel like to always be on, to always have the motor on, isn't helpful for you guys in August and just in general. As someone who has a lot of Piscean 12th energy kind of interplay stuff going on, I can see the danger of going back there and being held there. And if you're not careful and you're not aware and discerning, because earth and water signs deal with discernment in terms of environment and how you have boundaries and stuff like that. Having boundaries between other people is helpful, but having boundaries within the energetic time warp between yourself is very important. So you're not taking that energy back. You only take it if you're going to transmute it. Again, doing the work. You don't want to be an open portal just to take shit. You want to be an open portal to do the work, to transmute it and let it go. All right. Thank you, Neptune or Pisces, for this August 2021 reading. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Comment down below, things like that. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.